Fawzia Koofi is an Afghan politician and women's rights activist. She lived through the Taliban's last attempt to suppress women's education in the 1990s. When we sat down, I began by asking her about the situation on the ground.
Today, not only universities, but all education institutions, including like private schools and private courses, everything was shut down. And in a way that it looked like a military city, absolutely a military city, like Taliban heavy machine guns at the gate of any university. They were taking pictures and sharing it with me. Because I have personally gone through this also, so I really couldn't sleep last night because it is not even about women's rights anymore. It's about the future of our country. It's about how dark everything looks for all of us, not only for women who are in Afghanistan, for their parents, for mothers, for fathers, but for all of us. Because, we built hope in the last 20 years, not only talents, but hope. And to see everything is being like slowly shattered, step by step, is of course painful.
And you yourself, as you say, have been through this, are going through this now for the second time because you were there in the 1990s. You were a medical student when the Taliban enacted these rules. It seems that every policy that's been put in place by the Taliban over the last year has targeted women and girls. What is this obsession they have with suppressing the life of women in Afghanistan?
Well, first of all, I think they're so scared of the women's empowerment because women were the only or the first group that challenged Taliban's ideology as they first came to power on 15th of August last year. Remember, women went to the streets, protested, even in small numbers. This means that they have challenged the Taliban's hegemony of power. And Taliban know that the more society is educated, the more women are empowered, the less power and control they will have. They see women and their education and their empowerment as their enemy. And that's why, if you look at from last year until now, gradually, one after the other, they have really made a complete law. Now locked it by the last decree which stops women from going to university, right? So if you look, it looks like a law, starting from minor steps, eventually becoming tougher and tougher. I think they revised their policy. When they were in power in 1996, they started by major steps. First was like banning girls from education and universities. Now, after 1 year, they are bringing all of those measures back, including forced burqa and all of the measures, apparently as that's how they can keep power.
Yeah. So what can be done? What can the international community be doing more to leverage, the Taliban in terms of the power that they have? What would you like to see?
Well, first of all, I think the international community should regard the problem of people of Afghanistan and the women of Afghanistan as their own problem because injustice there in Afghanistan, discrimination can get to any borders. Taliban's victory has inspired many radicalized groups. Now, it doesn't have to be an Islamic radicalized group. It can be any military religious group that could be in our shores, in our borders. So for that, I think what we can do, first of all, have a unified position. I'm disappointed at many occasions when I see different positions driven by politics and geopolitics by international community. Regional countries have a different motive. The Western world have a different motive. So I think, first of all, a unified position. Second, the Taliban must be put on trial for their acts of against humanity. What's happening is crimes against humanity because they are gradually depriving women from their rights. Sanction. Take action, just not like statements and all of these things does not really help. They are nice, but it doesn't help. So they are sending $40 million every week to Taliban central bank, while people of Afghanistan are living under poverty line. The country is in the edge of starvation. You know that. We all know that. We all receive these reports and messages. The Taliban don't feel themselves accountable. So I think there should be concrete actions, sanction, travel ban, putting them on trial, in fact, because there has been no political pressure whatsoever. It has always been military and now friendship.
Have the West become already too complacent over the Taliban, even in a year, given the reversal we've seen of so many of their policies regarding women?
I think the world has now really kind of lost hope or shifted policy to other awful war in Ukraine, that they don't know what to do in Afghanistan. They think it's okay, it's part of people's life. They think it's a normal situation. I don't think it's a normal situation. I think if the world really doesn't act now, it can get to any shores. I think we need to really chase Taliban's, founders, donors, and those who are supporting Taliban. I think we need to really get out of the security-centric approach only, because the Taliban promised that they will fight ISIS, and that's why the world is so naive to believe them that they can fight ISIS, while Taliban existence actually can motivate other military groups to come and pursue the same policy.
That's a dangerous precedent. What does this spell for the rest of Afghanistan, already in a humanitarian crisis? Because Western countries are refusing to give aid, as you know, unless or until the Taliban reverse their policies, offer equal rights.
Well, the humanitarian aid is going to Afghanistan, actually, going through the UN. So, and I hope that will continue, because that's reaching the people. And through the UN, no access of Taliban should be allowed to the humanitarian aid. Although on weekly basis, $40 million going to the Taliban Central Bank, that there should be some checks and balance and clarity on how that money is being spent. But I think, since 1 year that women have been deprived of market and job opportunities, $1 billion to our economy, deficit to our economy, is because of that. So it's not about women's rights anymore. It's about security of Afghanistan. It's about economy. It's about our future. And it's about global security. As women are fighting for the global security, I think we need to really stand meaningfully beyond the statements with them, listen to them, give them the platform and see what do they want. Because, I mean, my concern is how much the world actually want to engage with women of Afghanistan as they're engaging with Taliban at very high level. They meet Taliban's ministers, they give them private jets, allow them to travel to different capitals, but women of Afghanistan cannot leave their houses. So I think that double standard sometimes makes us worry what the world wants, really. Now, many people tell me inside the country that don't actually talk to the international community because they're not being honest. Now, I think the world needs to prove to the people that they are honest when it comes to their core values.
Fawzia Koofi, thank you so much for joining us and giving us your important perspective. Appreciate it.
Thank you.